गंभीर भाषिणी कालकंठुनि राणी गंभीर भाषिणी कालकंठुनि राणी गंभीर भाषिणी कालकंठुनि गंभीर भाषिणी कालकंठुनि राणी काभोज अधिपतुलु आक्षतो पुण्यडुचुन्नारु काभोज अधिपतुलु आक्षतो पुण्यडुचुन्नारु काभोज अधिपतुलु आक्षतो पुण्यडुचुन्नारु सा निध पद पा मग म प मग रि स रि स म प द सा सा रि ग म ग रि स नि ध प ध रि स नि ध प म ग प द स रि स सा नि ध प म ग ध म ग रि स रि ग म प द नित्य कल्याणी.
Piece is called Ninnu Juchi, and it is a composition of a late 1600s, early 1700s composer by the name of Kshetrayya. So the thing about Indian classical dance is, for all that it's about liturgical and it's about the theological and about Hinduism as a sacred art as part of the rituals of Hinduism, there is a whole other side to the repertoire which captures the sacredness of Hindu devotion, but it uses the metaphor of earthly love to explain it. And there are also compositions which are just strictly about love, and those come from the courtesan repertoire. So sadly, in the 20th century, what you notice happening is there was a movement to really purify the arts, the traditional performing arts, especially dance, because unfortunately the British Raj destroyed most of our systems of patronage, which all but decimated the livelihoods of so many of the hereditary court and temple dancers and their teachers and musicians. As a result, the art went underground. It didn't completely die down, but the middle and upper middle classes of India, who had the means to be able to do leisurely things such as music and dance, started to take an investment into it. Combine that with Gandhiism that happened as a result of the independence movement, there was a need for Indians to reclaim art, but there was a price to pay. The price was a lot of the context of the repertoire that was inherited from traditional families was stripped of its context, the patronage context, where, in addition to providing sustenance for these temple dancers, it also provided them progeny, children. So the system of patronage was a double-edged sword. On the one hand, that was the impetus to produce some of the most beautiful compositions we have in Indian classical dance. But middle-class morality, Victorianism, Gandhiism, all those influences also sought to take away that context of our art. Kshetrayya composed compositions in the 1600s, and he was well known to courtesans and temple dancers alike. So his padams reflect that sensibility. This one is particularly beautiful because it captures a really, really intimate moment. In those days, when a man goes away for work or for what have you, he often leaves for months at a time and comes back. And so the wife or the lover, in such circumstances, has no means of contact. Imagine the moment in which your lover, after being away from 5 or 6 months, comes back to you suddenly. She's shocked. She's in disbelief. She's overwhelmed with happiness. But she also wants to tell him of how much she's suffered in his absence. The long nights that she's cried out for him, the long nights she dreamt of him and felt that his embrace was so real, but only to wake up to find it was just a dream. And so abhinaya in such pieces allows me to tap into my imagination, which draws from a variety of sources. So as dancers, whether it's through the pieces that we're taught and the ideas culled from tradition, or things that I hear in hip-hop, R&B, pop music, all those things kind of inform one's abhinaya, so to speak, one's imagination to bring alive text. More than just like the choreography of steps, this is where you get to see a dancer's imagination come to life. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I present the padam, Ninnu Juchi, and it's in the Ragam Punnagavarali. It's meant to be haunting. The tune itself comes from the raga that's played by snake charmers. So it has this kind of hypnotic quality to it. And it's in a very slow rhythm cycle talam called Tisra Triputa to give it that pathos. So ladies and gentlemen, I present to you for the very first time, Ninnu Juchi.